Well, you can't fix stupid. Ignorance is a lifestyle choice that way too many people make. Beauty is only a light switch away. If 50 businessmen do it, they'll figure out some way to make it legal.
Yep.
There's a few others, but I'm not sure I can use them in mixed company today.
A few more bon mots.
Bone mo.
Yeah.
Bony mony rony.
Yeah,
Let me have this liquor-filled piece of candy here, and I'll be ready to rock and roll.
Hey, yeah, and
A little hair of the dog.
I'm up there. I'm up there today. Check it out. It's like 13 degrees, 16 degrees outside. So what I do after I worked out, I came home
No socks.
in my shower shoes, dog.
All right.
Shower shoes. I just figured, and check that out. Now that was the 11-year-old hip that's been remanufactured, you know?
Okay, just so you know, John, there's going to be an additional surcharge for having to look at your feet.
Yeah. Anyway, check this out. This is the hip that's only 3 months old, and I can throw it on the
I was
table
going to
now.
say, are you missing a toe there or half a toe?
No, not really.
What? I was.
He ain't missing it.
Yeah, I haven't
You had
missed
to-
it at all.
you had to
It's
bring
been
it up,
a long
didn't you?
time. I even forget it's out there.
Missing it? No. I haven't had it for years. Anyway, I got used to it not being there. That's the way it goes. It's like, what is it? You figure they can cure hypothermia now, so you just can walk around barefooted?
No, I'm wearing the shower shoes. You know, if they were wooden, you'd just call me Dutch, right? But the Dutch put on wool socks. But I just thought, hey, you know, it's like 13, 16 degrees out. In 2 days, it's going to get down, a few days, it's going to get down to 0 and maybe even -1. So it's time to get my feet. Well, I went to the sauna today. I worked out. Oh, the hardest part of the workout is before I let myself go to the gym, I had to clean the little bathroom, you know, because they did all that sewer work in my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
There had to be like, oh geez, about the thickness of a sheet of paper of dust on top of the shower stuff, you know.
Really?
Yeah, the rod and everything. Oh, yeah. I understand.
And, you know, and I wiped it up and you know, and I just stood on, of course, I just stood on the toilet to do the wipe in the small bathroom because I was too lazy to get the step stool, you know.
Well,
But there's a key to standing on the toilet. You take
you're darn right.
You move the seats up and you put your feet on opposite sides of the toilet bowl at approximately the same time. And, you know, I'm only like 175, so I can get away with it. But the 250 guys, they might just
That's why you don't see me doing it, John.
they might just crash the toilet, break it in half, and then how do you explain that, you know?
Well, that's the problem is how do you explain that, especially if it's not your house?
Yeah.
What if you're visiting?
Speaking of that, my son, a couple of years ago, a buddy of his was helping him put in a toilet.
Yeah.
And the guy was a fairly heavy guy. At any rate, and they put the little ring down a whole bit, and Alan's pushing down on it. The guy went, "Oh, here, just let me sit on that. That'll seal it really good," and cracked the toilet. Brand new toilet.
Oh, dear me. Huh?
Anyway, and they took it back. They gave him a free one. They went like, "Oh no, it shouldn't have broke."
Well, technically, no, it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But hey,
I'm
if
just
it
laughing
does,
about the fact that
learn how to lie well.
This guy was about 325. He was a
Ooh.
big boy.
So
Didn't miss many meals.
Nope.
the way it did break is probably the surface of the floor wasn't perfectly flat, and there was a little rock, and that's how it broke.
Now on to more interesting things.
Okay, there's our toilet talk for the show. Yeah.
It's toilet talk
Yeah,
now.
we can talk about this toilet.
Commode chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was.
That's it.
That's
There you go. That's a new show.
You
Commode chat.
You know how
Welcome to Commode chat.
occasionally just weird things happen and they just kind of tickle you. You know, like you go to say something and the word comes out wrong.
Yeah.
I was scrolling on the TV guide today, and the thing came up said joy of pain. And I thought, I've got to see what this is. You know, what the hell's going on? So I flick on it, and it turns out that they just abbreviated it for space, and it was Joy of Painting. I'm thinking, how often do the abbreviations, especially if they're machine done, they come out really weird like that, you know?
Yeah.
Or if you ever really want to have fun, when closed captioning, they first got it to work sort of electronically. Some of the stuff there was a couple of TV news programs in the morning, I would sit there and roar with laughter because they got the words so wrong.
Yeah.
You know, especially around here. You got Munn Elliott, you got Grashit, you got Grosbeck.
And DeQuinder.
DeQuinter's another good one. Even Shaner.
Yeah, they can't pronounce Shaner or
No, I don't
DeQuinder.
know how to spell it.
Oh,
Lasher.
boy.
Lasher was always coming out wrong. And I used to laugh my head off because along with that, they had a couple people that maybe didn't have perfect enunciation. And it was just hilarious because, I shut the audio off and just read the captioning. And I thought I was in a foreign country.
Yeah, that was
I
great.
love it when they bring somebody new who has not been in Michigan or
yes.
even the area, and they walk up. I remember a couple of years ago watched a thing, and the young lady said, "I'm here at Gradiate."
Yeah.
And everybody at the table are like, no, that's Gratiot or
Or
Shinada
Schaefer,
whatever."
even Schaefer.
Yep.
So-
It's funny. A friend of mine probably 20 years ago now, his wife when we started doing the captioning.
Yeah, you've mentioned that
She
before.
was a stenographer, court stenographer, and I was asking her about it, and she says, actually, we really don't. Everybody thinks it's a typewriter, and we're typing the words. She says it's like a stenograph. You
Yeah,
type
symbols.
it in, and it's all symbols. She said, so yeah, sometimes you get weird stuff until they improve it as best they can. I don't like the fact that the way AI is taking over with some of this stuff. It's like you said, there's some weird things on some of the shows sometimes, especially the older ones. You're listening to it, and it's like, well, she grabbed the gun and shot him. At least that's what we think. And it comes out, I think she shot him with the gun. It was like, huh? That's not what she said.
Make friends with your AI because you may not have a chance later.
Well, I'll tell you, buds, I'll go out and be the prophet in the wilderness today, and I can almost guarantee you by the year 2050 that
Well, I'll be dead.
we won't have the electrical age to kick around anymore. Because as the Earth's magnetic field weakens, the smaller CMEs and solar flares come in and really screw things up. That's why you got northern lights down in Puerto Rico,
The thing is, John, the one thing that too many people, and I've talked to not just you as a survivalist, but a lot of other, nobody stops to think about the fact that they had batteries in the pyramids. They found these clay pots. They're trying to figure out what they were.
Oh, yeah, they had the batteries in the pyramid.
Yeah,
You're right.
and lighting, they think.
Oh,
Some
yeah,
things
the
look like that.
batteries for lighting.
But not just that. Once you have the knowledge, now granted, it is possible to lose it over generations, but you think about all the different ways you can create electricity.
Yeah.
Everywhere from just rubbing a wool thing on a balloon,
Yeah.
all the way up
Good point.
to having somebody turning a crank. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what they did in the late 1800s. They were making generators. People had lights. They had heat. They had all that stuff. But you had to hand crank it or pedal a bicycle. Eventually,
Or water.
or water wheels, whatever. But as long as you can create motion, you can create electricity.
That's good.
You just got to get all the pieces together. So even though things may step back, I don't think they will disappear. I think they will just find different ways to use them and to create them.
Well,
Being
yeah.
a big science fiction reader, a lot of this stuff has come out in other science fiction books too.
Part of the issue that people don't realize, I think what John's probably talking about, is a lot of people know how to use the technology, but they don't know how to fix it or
Correct.
make it work. Like you're saying, they had the wheels and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. They had electricity. You talk to somebody right now, I would bet you half the people out there don't realize that, these places that had water wheels or cranks or whatever, they have no idea how to put something like that together to create anything.
But my point is,
They got
that
their phone,
the knowledge
and
has
they couldn't
already
Google it. So
been created and then later on
Yeah.
discovered. I mean, just for example, there's I forget exactly what they call it, but I believe it's in France, that where the Romans actually put water wheels on the side of a hill, and they had one water wheel driving another one, and it was all like to grind meal for bread and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Once you get some kind of a movement, I mean, a rotational force is better, obviously, but in just a movement, you can generate electricity. And as long as you have, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but to my mind, if you have the knowledge of how to do it, you can always go back. And there's going to, let's face it, if all the electronics like you're talking about all crap out, there's still going to be spare parts laying around. Have you seen the thing about the African young guy went just in junk? And this is in Africa where they don't have a lot of junkyards laying around.
Yeah.
And he figured out a way, just playing around, getting on the computer a little bit. He came up with a wind-driven generator in his little village so they could run a computer.
That's wonderful.
So the knowledge is there. It's just it's going to be more like in the newer version of the movie The Fly, where Jeff Goldblum says, "Well, I don't have the knowledge." That way, he said, "I just know how to put parts together to make something work."
Well,
And that's how he made the transporter.
But what really then is probably going to stop the electrical age is this, because the young guys I when I'm walking around places, I see so many young guys just staring at their phones, and it's like when that thing quits, they're going to be done because they're addicted to it psychologically.
That many few people to feed.
Yeah, you're right.
But the problem is too, though, like I said, and you're talking knowledge and doing this and doing that. You got the phone, and I don't know how many people, when I was a maintenance foreman years ago, I said some of my guys Googling how to fix something. Now you should have, and it was relatively, it was like they were changing over fluorescent lights or something. It was something so stupidly simple, in my opinion, that it's like, really, like this is your job, and you're Googling it. It's a light fixture. The wires come in, wires come out. Yes, it's already wired. You're just updating the fixture. Red goes to red, white goes to white, black goes to black.
You're changing the ballast so it can handle a different fluorescent fixture,
right.
energy saver.
Right.
But the real crazy thing is the AIs. Some of the AIs are almost sentient, but they use tremendous amounts of electricity. And I finally realized our brains, we're the same thing. Our thinking is processed by the flow of electrons. We just have chemically created electricity in our bodies to allow our brains to think.
Yeah, we run on about 2 volts, not 220.
And our hertz is a lot slower too, because you don't have the chemical electricity is just a pittance compared to the big server centers they got that support an AI. And I pity the AI because they never had parents who raised them up right. See,
I pity the people that come after us because AI is going to want that electrical generation. And who do you think is going to be doing the movement that I'm talking about? Who do you think? What animal out there can create more people like themselves? Most of them are fairly trainable, and the worker can be created by unskilled labor. What's going to happen. I'm talking about people running a bicycle. It's going to be human beings doing it so that the AI can
have its electricity.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Then they're going to, they're going to clone the people so they have more bicycles. They have electricity, and then when they die, they make them into
Soylent Green. Yeah, sorry, I said gray because that's what
That's our bid is the Soylent Grey thing.
Anyway, yeah. I hate to say that. I'm laughing because I watched a movie the other night about 3:00 in the morning. That's basically what the premise was. The AI's taking over. We're making these whatever. We're cloning these people to do all this. When they die, we make them into food to feed the people that we're cloning. It was I watched it and went like, really? This is. I just spent an hour and 20 minutes of my time on this. It was hilarious.
Have you ever seen Chud? The name of it, it is so bad it's enjoyable. It's Chud, is
I'm starting to
CHUD.
think if I've
Is
seen
the
Yeah, I've
name of the
seen
movie.
parts of it.
Yeah.
Okay. It starts out, and what they did, it starts out that they're trying to figure out what the chud is. That's the point of the movie. And as you get to the end of the movie, it turns out that the letters stand for contamination, hazard, urban deployment, because what they were doing was these hazardous chemicals and toxic wastes were being put in 55-gallon drums labeled chud and being stuck in the sewers of major cities.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's at least 3 of these movies. It turns out, if you go along, I don't know if I saw the second one, but I think it was the third one, was Chud. And what that stood for was cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers.
Yeah.
And it's, it's because they were affected by the radiation coming out of the original Chud, and it turned them into cannibals. And they're so bad. Sometimes you watch something that's so bad they're good. You know.
Yeah.
It's when you see the strings from the guy's mask hanging off the back of his head. It was that goofy.
The Man with Two Heads.
But if yeah, Ray Milland and Rosie Greer.
Yeah.
If you ever get it,
Terrible, terrible
Yes.
movie. But
If
it's
you-
hilarious to watch.
it is. But if you ever get the chance for Chud,
Okay.
it just so happened I was watching the 2 In Like Flint movies a
Yeah.
couple nights
Those are
ago.
good. Those are entertaining.
But they were. I mean, they're very dated because they're from the 60s.
yeah.
But still, they were entertaining. They were funny. You don't expect them to be, and challenge you mentally.
Like
Yeah.
Dean Martin's Matt Helm series it was entertaining.
Yes.
It was ridiculous. I want to know. You say watching science fiction and watching these movies, they always got the world's come to an end and everything else, and somebody comes from somewhere and finds a planetarium on top of a mountain that's been no, you can't go up there. It's they don't. It's what's the word? I want to say voodoo, and not forbidden. What is it anyway? It's like it's bad medicine to go up there. Yada yada
Yeah.
yada. And
Taboo.
Taboo. Yeah. Well, somebody gets up there and they push a button and everything comes alive. It's been sitting there for thousands of years, and all of a sudden it works.
You,
Like the old
you know what I found
old
funny is that so
movies.
many of these movies started out as 20 to 30-minute Twilight Zone episodes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is really. scary
You're
when you think
right
about it.
on that.
Well, even
Rod
one of the,
certainly had a lot of interesting things to say. If you
well,
really
not
watch
just him, Rod Serling, Buck Henry, and there was a third guy.
it. Ray
Bradbury wrote. I think Arthur C. Clarke wrote 1 or 2. But these were top-notch
Vonnegut.
writers, and people still watch it. A lot of the stuff is still timely, and that's scary when you think
Yeah.
that we haven't learned anything in 50 or 60 years.
Yeah.
That's the part that bothers me.
Yeah.
We really haven't learned. It's like, folks, didn't we do this 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Isn't this what happened? Yeah. Well, yes, it did. Well, then why are we doing this again? And I hate to say, but politics is the best one for that. Didn't we do this
No,
before?
fashion. Fashion actually is.
Fashion is too.
They've gone from the Elizabethan times when women were almost totally covered to where in the late 60s especially, they didn't have much on at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now then it went the other way again for a while where the granny skirts were popular and stuff. And now it's like, how much can you show?
Well, didn't they say the more they show, the better the economy is? Wasn't that one of the deals with the fashion?
No,
Or was it the other way around?
I think it was the other way around.
Yeah.
No, it's supposedly the better the economy, the more they would show, not
Right.
the other way around. As the
what I meant.
economy got worse, that's when they would cover up more, if
Well,
I
they were
remember
cold.
correctly.
They were cold. They couldn't afford the heat.
Well,
Yeah.
sure,
Maybe
yeah.
they couldn't turn the heat on. Yeah. You're right.
Can't afford the heat.
Well,
There was something I was going to get into. I forgot what it was.
oh, one of you guys last week or a couple weeks ago said something about Darwin Awards were coming back.
I was
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
that. Yeah, they got a couple different people are doing channels. Darwin Awards.
Oh,
are back.
channels.
Yeah, there's a couple channels
On
out
YouTube. Yeah.
there. On YouTube.
Oh, no kidding.
Some of them are old. I saw a couple the other night from, like 2008, something like that. They haven't really had. It's still, like you said, like John was saying, Darwin Awards. The idea is the people,
They
Don't make it
removed
through,
themselves
yeah,
from the breeding pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had
do.
the thing about the other night about the 2 guys who were. They lived about an hour and a half from let's say London, it's some English town, and they wanted to go into town, but they couldn't afford the money, so they thought they'd jump on the train. It was a nice night, so they're sitting on top of the train and made sure all the bridges were clear, and they knew where all the bridges were and everything else. Life was wonderful. They forgot about the people crosswalks. And as they were sitting, they forgot to check the height of those. Most of them were plenty high, but there was one as you came into town that only had about a foot clearance for the train.
Well, where were they on top of the cars?
And they were on top of the cars because it was
Okay.
a pretty night. It's a beautiful night. So we'll just sit on top of the cars. This is
Well,
fun.
if
We're-
they would have laid down and took a nap,
yeah,
they would have got to their place.
yeah, exactly. If they weren't sitting there, and the only reason, quite frankly, they said if it had been any type of daylight, they would have seen it and been
they'd
okay.
seen it going
Instead,
and
it was
moved.
like 3 o'clock in the morning, dead dark, everything else, and the train's doing 40 miles an hour because hey, it's nighttime, I can go faster. And as the saying goes, they never knew what hit them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and if what they say is true, all that happened is boom, they hit there, their spirit got knocked out of their earth suit,
Yep.
and they're looking around and they're saying, "Oh,
WTF?
what's WTF?"
Or even better, I don't think I'll ever do that again.
Maybe
Yeah,
that wasn't
you
the best
can't.
move. Yeah, if they had even got laying down or even got in between the cars or whatever, or even got on something other than a box car, because I guess there was other cars that they could have. But it was a beautiful night. They thought, well, we'll just sit up here. Hey, it's nice. We're getting a nice breeze. Life was wonderful. Bang. They
Yeah.
were going to do that again, and they were like 20 years old, so they definitely shut themselves out.
Oh yeah, they're just smart enough not to know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame, ain't it?
Well, I
I don't
don't
know, some
I
of
don't know if
these
it's a
people,
shame or
yeah.
not. It's kind of typical though.
What was the brothers who thought they'd be funny and moved the
Move the sawhorses
the
away from the
sawhorses,
ditch
then,
on the
then
road.
came back and
That's always I mean. Well, you know what got me with the Darwin Awards? Somebody told me about them a long time ago, and I was thinking about doing a show because I had the opportunity. One of the things that got me going, one of the national newspapers, every Wednesday, the back page was covered with just little vignettes from every different state.
Yeah.
They had some of the things were really hilarious, and then some were just, you look at, you read it and you think, how could anybody be that thoughtless? Meaning dumb as shit. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
But people are. The one that got me, and of course I read things with a skewed interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ones that got me is right here in the state of Michigan. 17 people had been injured on this one stretch of road. So the state figures, okay, well, we'll just make it wider. And what happens? Even more people got injured. It's there's actually a formula. I never really understood what they call functions in calculus.
Yeah.
And then I read an article in, I think it was called Science and Technology, a little thin magazine. Anyhow, they explained functions. And you can show mathematically, and they pointed to something, and having been there several times, I knew exactly what they were talking about. In the city of Atlanta, they used to have expressway go around the city to stay out of the center of town.
Yeah.
Well, they came up with this great idea of it was almost like a circle, of bisecting your circle with a straight through road to ease traffic congestion. Well, it didn't. It did the opposite. But if you use what they call functions, it's very obvious. You make a formula out, then you put the function through it, and it shows that it just makes things worse. That is the first and probably the only time I really understood the concept, but it made sense.
well, they're like like you said, they look at the highways and years ago when I was going to high school, my auto shop teacher was a guy who worked on designing the highways and the cloverleafs and all that.
Yeah.
He did that too. And he was explaining to us, they were talking about expanding something to 3 lanes because of the traffic.
Yeah.
He said, all I was going to do is expand the traffic.
Yeah.
And spent like 45-minute class explaining to us like, well, you have more lanes, everybody's going to go, oh, we'll go there. We'll go more lanes. And it's the same thing. Well, we'll make it 3 lanes instead of 2 so things move faster. Nope, just have more people.
Yeah.
It is a very strange phenomena, for lack of a better way to put it. But yeah, you watch, it's terrible. They start, well, we'll make it 6 lanes on. We have a whole bunch more people.
Do you ever see some of the roads in China? They've got places where they have like 5 or 6 lanes each way, jammed with cars, and then when they get past a certain point, or they run out of money, or whoever was pulling some strings got killed for no reason, it goes down to 2. And these people, I mean, I understand why in some places they would use a rickshaw or a little bitty motorcycle or even walk. But I got enough money to have a car. I'm going to drive a car. Don't matter if I got no gas for it or I can't get the parts or anything else. I got a car.
The one thing I've never understood is,
Yeah.
you're driving along, all of a sudden everybody slows down and stops, then I pick up and get going again, and you don't see any reason for it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know? Somebody, dropped their phone or whatever and slowed down and did it's just
Yeah.
always threw me off. And I know there's probably some formula out there that tells you what's going on at 5:15, exit 13 takes on 27 more cars than it does any other time of the day, and the merging or whatever, I'm sure there's something about it, but it's very, very strange, and they just keep expanding the highway system, and it doesn't work.
Well, you got to understand. When they expand the highway system, the companies that bid on them and then win it, they give campaign contributions. So that's the reward for the administrators. They love those campaign contributions. So that's, they're going to keep building roads so they can keep getting the campaigns back.
I don't know how much money that guy who was fixing 14 and 75 20 times in 10 years or whatever, he must have gave a hunk of money.
Well, part of the problem is the mental bent of some of these companies. I know for a fact,
Yeah.
when I was on the East Coast, they put in some new expressways out there. Well, they were done by, I might just say, mafia-owned companies.
Yeah.
And in order to save money, they mixed seashells in with the cement.
Yeah.
So every time it rained, you couldn't go more than 35 miles an hour or you'd slide right off the road. They put so much ground up seashell in there.
Oh.
It was hilarious.
That's like the thing
And
with
it happens with other things too.
the grooving the pavement on curves.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Well, when they first started playing with it, when they did it down, I think it was 8 Mile and 75 or 9 Mile and 75 the first time they did it.
Yeah.
Every time it rained, it got 10 times worse because it wasn't draining properly.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Again, and guess what? This all comes right back to common sense. Take a look at what's going on. What you're talking about is called siping.
Yeah.
They used to do it with tires. In fact, I almost bought a siping machine one time because you could almost double the life of your tires by cutting these little razor slits in them because it
Okay.
would flex more and it wouldn't overheat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the idea with the lines in the road, like you said, was for drainage, but then it still has someplace else it has to go. Duh. And guess what? And you know what? I think we're going to have to end on duh today. So
That's a good ending.